My intervention will be focusing on the homeless veteran population in Columbus, Ohio. The general problem we will be looking at in this presentation is that of homelessness. The Department of Housing and Urban Development defines someone, an individual or family, as being homeless if they lack a fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime residence. While the homeless population has been increasing in the United States over the past few years, it has also been increasing in Columbus, Ohio. In 2018, the homelessness rate jumped in Columbus by 7%. An estimated 1,807 people are experiencing homelessness in the Columbus area on any given night. So, why are we focusing on Columbus? As explained in the previous slide, the homelessness rate in Columbus has increased in the past few years. Unemployment is a large contributing factor to this rising rate. It is also in large part because of the growth Central Ohio is experiencing lately. Columbus has been a hub for new businesses, job opportunities, and economic growth in the past few years. But what comes with this is an influx of people moving to this area, and with it, less places to live, especially places that are affordable for the lower socioeconomic status population. New public housing units are not getting built, and the wait lists continue to increase for those already existing. Other factors that contribute to the increased homelessness rate in Columbus include lack of affordable health care, domestic violence, mental illness, and substance abuse and addiction. The next question is, why specifically focus on the veterans within the homeless population? Many homeless veterans suffer homelessness due to the same factors that the general homeless population does. The factors that make homeless veterans stand apart from the general homeless population relates to their time in service. Effects of mental illnesses, such as post-traumatic stress disorder, provides a large hurdle for veterans. These mental illnesses can contribute to veterans' unemployment and lack of familial stability. Many struggling veterans are also unable to afford or have access to health care, creating a cycle where their PTSD and other mental illnesses continue to go untreated. Another issue veterans experience includes a hard time translating their time in service to the civilian world. Many times, veterans have a difficult time or unable to transition their work skills or military occupational training to a job in the civilian workforce, placing them at a disadvantage among other competitors. This leads to unemployment or low-paying jobs, contributing to the large number of homeless veterans. Lastly, substance abuse is also a large contributing factor to homelessness within the veteran population. The problem of homeless veterans has been fluctuating in recent years. Here, you can take a look at some important statistics relating to homeless veterans. My proposed intervention is modeled largely after the Veterans Community Project. Although this project is looking to expand nationwide, its main branch is located in Kansas City. The goal of this program is to end veteran homelessness by housing homeless veterans in tiny houses that provide the stability and the starting point veterans need in order to address the underlying causes of homelessness. The VCP Village is a small community consisting of 49 tiny houses designed for transitional support for homeless veterans. There are two tiny house models, single and family houses that can sleep up to 7 people, and pets are allowed. Veterans who apply to stay in this community are prioritized based on their vulnerability and need, and are welcome to stay in the village as they continue to make progress towards their eventual goal of permanent housing readiness. Each veteran is provided with a case manager, who they meet with at least once a week to achieve lasting results in areas of health and wellness, education, employment, financial literacy, the development of a personal support network, and securing a permanent housing solution. This program partners with local companies, agencies, nonprofits, and individuals to connect the community to the veteran and vice versa, so the veteran can make social, personal, and professional connections. There is a community center in this village as well, featuring a fellowship hall, medical and dental offices, a veterinarian clinic, a commercial kitchen, and a computer lab. Each tiny house includes furniture, appliances, housewares, bedding, food, and utilities free of charge. The veterans, once they find a permanent housing solution, can take the entire contents of their tiny home as they transition into their new lives. As former Army Intelligence Officer Jason Kander says, the tiny houses in the program community have been called a great transitional environment. Just in 2019, 44 homeless veterans found shelter at the Veterans Community Project, and 13 had successfully transitioned out into permanent housing. As mentioned previously, I would like to style my intervention program on the VCP, including most of its components, if not all. I would call this project the Veterans Community Housing Project of Columbus. The goal of this program will be to increase the number of homeless veterans in Columbus who are actively seeking permanent housing solutions. Funding will be needed to build the community, employ staff, set up programs, and provide resources and furnishings and utilities for the tiny houses. Veterans will be able to apply to live in the community in person, and each veteran living in the community will be assigned a caseworker. The Veterans Community Housing Project of Columbus will consist of 15 single tiny homes and 10 family tiny homes, but more can be built if successful. Each home will include appliances, furniture, bedding, utilities, and food, and there will also be a community center within the tiny home village. I will now explain the relationship between the veteran and their caseworker more in depth. Each veteran will be assigned a caseworker who will meet with them once a week to check on how they are making progress in the program. There will be an initial session with the caseworker once the veteran moves into the community, which will include providing resources for the veteran, getting them acclimated to the community, informing them on what programs are available, and making specific goals as to what else they want to accomplish during their time in the community, along with finding permanent housing. These specific goals can include important challenges homeless veterans face, such as finding employment, seeking mental health services, and living a substance-free life. These important issues will also be further discussed with the caseworker throughout the veteran's time in the community. The overall goal of this program, again though, is finding a permanent housing solution. Again, caseworkers will meet with the veterans each week to check on how they are making progress in the program. They will check progress on the veterans' goals. You can see examples of goals and progress checks on this slide. General progress due to living in the community will be seen to be made if the veteran clients are attending available services provided by the program, as well as self-evaluations. So, how will we spread the word on the VCHPC? Personal success stories will greatly be used to disseminate this program throughout Columbus. We will also use flyers to spread information throughout the broader community to reach the general public, and post flyers up around the city, in homeless shelters, and in places veterans commonly seek services, in hopes that homeless veterans will see this information. Here you can see the logic model of this intervention. To fund this project, we will need funding from grants, loans, and donors. We will also need available space in the city of Columbus to build the community. This space will need to be easily accessible to travel to and learn about, such as being on the COTA bus line. The assumption we will be making about this intervention is that if a homeless veteran is provided with housing and services, such as financial competency courses, medical services, employment searches, and mental health therapies, they will be more successful in finding permanent housing. Examples of outputs from this project will include social, personal, and professional networks within the community, knowledge on how to find permanent housing, and personal goals such as finding employment, getting mental health help, or becoming substance-free. Immediate outcomes of this program will include available services in a number of areas, help on finding permanent housing, everything included in the tiny home such as furniture, housewares, and food, and permanent housing for 1 year or less after the program. The program will be seen to be more successful if the veteran can achieve the intermediate outcomes, which is having permanent housing for 2 years after the program. The program will be seen to be 100% successful if the veteran has permanent housing for 3 consecutive years after the program. Other long-term outcomes of this project include knowledge of services, such as how to find employment and how to secure or find permanent housing, and social, personal, and professional networks and connections.